So let's talk about what it takes to make the switch from T-Mobile over to Verizon. I hope to make this process simple for you and as easy as possible. So let's talk about this. I'm going to talk about what that process is, and then after that, I'm going to talk about what I had to do recently to get over to Verizon and why I switched over to Verizon and what the service is like now that I have switched. All right, so the first thing you need to know or consider is, are you going to be buying a phone from Verizon or porting your number over, or are you going to get just a brand new phone? If you're going to get a new phone and a new number, you don't even need to worry about most of what I'm going to talk about in this video. Just go down to Verizon and sign up and get a new phone and get a new phone number. But if you're like me and have had the same phone number for over a decade and you want to keep that number, there are some things you do need to be aware of. First of all, how old is your phone? If it's 2017 or earlier, there is a possibility you may need a new phone with Verizon. If it's 2017 or newer, almost all phones that have been manufactured from 2017 up through 2022 can be used on any service as long as they are unlocked. And I'll talk a little bit about that here in a few minutes. The second thing is, if you're bringing your phone over from T-Mobile to Verizon, it will have to be paid off and you will have to own that phone. So Verizon was nice enough, T-Mobile was nice enough to go ahead and pay off all of our phones for us because of all of the issues I've had over the last 3 years. So they let us walk away from the service with our phones. Free and clear. So the first thing I did is I started chatting with a Verizon person. Now, I would probably recommend going into a store, but I did this all over the phone or all over the internet, through a chat, and it worked out just fine with a few caveats. But hopefully this video is going to clear up the issues that I had. So I started chatting with them, and they said the first thing they're going to need to be able to switch those phones over is the phone to be unlocked, you to own that phone, and they said they need the IEMI number. Now, every phone has an IEMI number. It's kind of an identification number with that phone. You can find it through going into the settings on the phone and about that phone. It's very easy to get to on an iPhone. I'm not sure exactly what the process is on an Android, but you go to the General tab in the settings in an iPhone and you scroll down and you will see the IEMI number. They're going to need that, first of all, and they're also going to need the account number for your account number for T-Mobile. So I provided those things over the phone, and they were able to generate 5 SIM cards and have them shipped to us within 2 days. So when they got shipped to, and there was no other information given to me. They didn't say they needed anything else. There was no other instructions given at that stage, just that the SIM cards would be shipped to us. So I get the SIM cards in the mail, and I go to install it on my phone, and it says it cannot activate. So I call this number. I call the T-Mobile or the Verizon number, and it says that the number does not match T-Mobile's PIN number. And I said, okay, that's kind of weird. It should be the correct PIN number. So I went in and I changed my PIN number. I made sure the PIN matched. I called the number, put in the PIN again, and then it says it's going to take possibly up to 24 hours to verify that PIN number. Well, it still wasn't working. So what I did is my wife and I went down to the to the Verizon store by our house, and they said that it's not asking for the PIN number for your account. They need what's known as a port number, a number that's going to allow them to forward your number from T-Mobile over to Verizon. So we then had to hop over right across the street to the T-Mobile store to get that number. They said we had to call customer service. I also found out that my phones were not unlocked, so they went ahead and unlocked those phones for us. And we had to set up a one-time PIN number. It's called a port number through customer service. And that port number is good for 1 week. And it has to be the account holder that calls T-Mobile to be able to get that port number. So they'll give you that port number over the phone after jumping through a few hoops. You then call T-Mobile's number again. It's going to ask you to put in that number. So you do, and then it should start activating. Now, ours were not activating like normal even after that number. But the funny thing is, when I called the Verizon number after that, sure enough, I was able to get in to the Verizon customer care. And what I was able to talk to a rep, and they said that our phones were not scheduled to be turned on until the following day, but that they could push it through. So they did for 4 of the phones. One of our SIM cards that they sent us would not be registered by the owner of that phone, and we found out that the SIM card was defective. Luckily, that one was an iPhone, and if something is wrong with the SIM card or it's not correct, what they're able to do is use something called an eSIM. But eSIM is only available on an iPhone. There's a chip in the iPhones that allow you to go in and you can put the number and all of the stuff on that eSIM card that's already built into the iPhone. So no SIM card is really needed for an iPhone, and they may want to go that route in a few cases. So they did activate all 5 phones, and we did get them up and running. So what I would say is, before you even make the switch to going over to Verizon, have your phone, have it paid off, make sure it has been unlocked by T-Mobile, and also get your one-time PIN number that is available and good for 7 days. Once you have those things, then go over to Verizon and make that change. All right, so let's talk about how my service has changed since then. Now, I made this change because our T-Mobile service has been bad for the last 3 to 4 years. It was really bad. I could not make calls in my house. My internet went down twice last week. We have a cell booster on our house with T-Mobile, and without the internet, it doesn't work, and I was dead in the water. I didn't have internet. I didn't really have cell service. I couldn't do anything. So I was dead in the water, and this is what prompted me to make this change. So I went over to Verizon. Now I'm going to give you some direct comparisons here. In my house, well, my house is not a good scenario. Outside the house, to give you an idea, there is a Walmart that is 2.5 miles from my house. In there, I could not even connect with T-Mobile ever. If I was ever looking up something, we couldn't. We'd have to go up to the front of the store, go outside, and then our phones were T-Mobile service was extremely slow. Just was not working, and this is pretty much anywhere we go where we live. Everywhere we go, we can't connect to stuff. It was ridiculous. Well, I got the Verizon service. We were in Walmart the other day, and I bring it up. I do a speed test, and I was getting about 256 download and about 20-something upload right there in the middle of the store, which was crazy. We were out to eat yesterday. We were at a Cane's, and sure enough, I had a signal. I was able to check emails and do the things I needed to. The day before, we were somewhere else, and I was able to watch live video of the Amtrak derailment right there on the phone. These are things I have previously not been able to do with our cell service with T-Mobile, but now everywhere I go, I have a signal. So this is a great change for us. Now, your results may vary. I gave a website in my last video where you can put in your zip code and it'll tell you what the best service is for cell carriers in your area. I would tell you that mine was only about a 0.7% difference between T-Mobile and Verizon, but Verizon works way better than T-Mobile ever did. So it was a good switch for us, and it's the best decision we've made. So if you're looking to make a change, it's going to be a process, but if you have everything you need in hand, it should be pretty simple. Once they got us up and running, we were good to go, and we've been good ever since, and we have not had any dropouts with our phone calls. We've not had any issues whatsoever since we got these things. It's been over 3 days now since these things have been activated, and I'm loving the service so far, and hopefully it stays that way. All right, if you've made the switch, what has your experience been? And if this video helped you, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I do appreciate all of the support. We'll see you guys on the next video.